The story begins with the introduction of our hero. His name is Kaiser, a boy who was once an adventurer. When he was 14, he got his adventurer rank and license, and he was the fastest to get it. He learned the art of the sword from a great master named Kenny, and practiced magic with an ancient sage. After entering the Adventurers Guild, he quickly rose through the ranks, and was soon in pursuit of the C-rank adventurer title. One day, when he was 17, he lost everything. An adventurer from Rankia becomes a father. This happened when I was on a mission from Rankia, on top of a volcano inhabited by Vivern. Just being there, alone on a mission like that, was already a risk. But he managed to complete the subjugation successfully, and was planning to return to the guild. However, he thought about taking the material and retrieving it. It was then that he felt an irregular movement, saw a monster in front of him, and realized that it was not the size of a small living being, but rather a giant monster, with 4 legs and huge wings. It was something that was sleeping near the volcano, an S-rank monster, an ancient dragon. He was surprised to see where the dragon was flying, and realized that it was heading towards the city that was under the volcano. Kaiser ran to the dragon, not knowing if he would be able to get there in time, but when he arrived, he was surprised to see that the entire village was on fire. As he was descending, he saw that all the buildings, down to the ground, were on fire. Desperate, he started looking for survivors, shouting if anyone was there, but there was no one. He was devastated, and wondered how this had happened. He thought it was his fault, thinking that if he had defeated the living faster, maybe the ancient dragon would not have woken up. Considering that he was an rank adventurer, trained in the sword, and taught by a sage, besides being supposedly a prodigy, he couldn't protect people. Nothing made sense to him. He cried, considering himself a failure. But just in time, he heard a noise, and ran to see what it was. When he pulled up a wall, he found 3 babies crying. Her tears started to fall as she picked them up when she saw that they were fine. He was sure that they had all died, but now, seeing those lives still alive, he found hope. Taking the babies, she decided to take on the responsibility of taking care of them, and giving them a happy life. Right there, he swore to the villagers who could not be saved, that he would take care of these children the best he could, promising, on behalf of those who could not be saved, to make them happy. After returning, things were different. Some adventurers began to blame him for the destruction of the village. The people who had previously praised him started talking behind his back, saying that this would happen one day, that he was so smug for being considered a prodigy and an adventurer. Even though they accused her of allowing the destruction of an entire village, everyone started insulting him with harsh words, and he couldn't defend himself. The death of the city's residents was undoubtedly his fault. Or so he thought. Now he thought he needed to do the right thing. The receptionist asked Kaiser if he was really going to stop being a bird watcher. Kaiser confirmed this, saying that the city was destroyed because of him, and that he did not have the qualifications to call himself an adventurer. The lady could not believe it, and said that what happened was not her fault. She said that the ancient dragon was an S-rank monster. No matter how hard she tried, she wouldn't be able to fight him. She called him a hero who had saved lives. Her words comforted Kaiser, but he thanked her, and said he was happy to hear that. However, she explained that she wanted to stay with the children. The lady understood and respected his decision. Then Kaiser left, to become an S-rank adventurer. What was once his dream, now didn't matter. I needed to be a father to those 3 children. Because he had promised the Allens to give them a good life. So, he decided to keep his promise. After leaving the city, Kaiser decided to return to Yu's hometown, and decided to raise the children there, in a place away from the bustle of the city. The townspeople received him warmly, although they were surprised to see him return with babies. The old man understood his situation and helped him, leaving to stay in a small house on the outskirts of the city, and so Kaiser's life began with those 3 children. Since it was the first time she was raising children, she tried to educate them from a young age. But they always gave her something new to worry about. They fought a lot, and always hurt each other, and it seemed that they grew up very quickly. 10 years later, the 3 girls he had rescued finally turned 10. Elsa, the eldest, was much more talented than other children her age. He was skilled with the sword, and his skill surpassed that of a normal 10-year-old boy. His strength and agility were at another level. But although she had talent, she was still a child. And that's why she was defeated by Kaiser. When it looked like the fight was over, Elsa was disappointed, as expected. Despite trying his best, he couldn't even take a swing at Kaiser. He responded by saying that there was still a long way to go before his beloved daughter would reach that level. After all, he had 27 years of experience. Seeing Elsa disappointed, Kaiser praised her and said that she really did a good job this time, and that her sword skills had improved a lot. He came up to her and told her that, the way she was going, maybe she would become a better swordsman than he was. Elsa was surprised and asked if it was really possible that she was better than him. Kaiser patted her head and said that if she didn't give up, she would definitely make it. Then he asked her why she didn't call him daddy like she used to. Elsa became lodged upon hearing this and replied that she could not do that, because a swordsman cannot show weakness in his life. And that was the way of a warrior. Then Kaiser asked her if she was saying she didn't like cute things. Elsa confirmed, saying that calling him anything other than dad would be a sign of weakness, and even eating things like desserts was a sign of weakness. Kaiser overheard this and scoffed, saying that the dessert of the day was apple pie. But I bet a swordswoman like her wouldn't be able to eat something like that. Elsa's eyes lit up with joy, and she said it was okay to be a little gentle that day. Kaiser agreed, and then said they had to buy the ingredients first. And he asked her if she wanted to go with him. She was pleased with the proposal and agreed. Despite her attitude, Elsa was a sweet and caring girl. He always liked to play in the garden, and seemed to enjoy watching Kaiser practice with his sword. When she cried at night, holding Kaiser's sword, it calmed her down. And although he had left his childhood behind, he still slept next to his ancient wooden sword. As they were walking, Elsa called her father. With all determination, she told him that, when she grew up, she wanted to be an adventurer like him. She declared that she would defeat the dragon that he could not defeat. Kaiser patted his head, and said that he seemed happy now, but that he didn't know the dangers of being adventurous. If Elsa went through something like this, I wasn't sure if I should follow in her footsteps. But he couldn't dictate her future, it was something she would have to decide for herself. Then he replied that, one day, surely she could overcome it and achieve her goal. But first, he said that she would have to win the fencing tournament the following week. If I won, I could ask him for anything. Senna moved on to Elsa's fencing tournament a week later. Finally, his opponent gave up. It was decided that the winner of that year would be Kaiser's daughter. Elsa? Others began to comment, saying that it looked like her daughter really was a twin. Someone asked her if she hadn't also won the tournament the previous year. And the person confirmed it, saying that his strength is crazy. And even if they fought 100 times, it would always be the same. They also said that Kaiser and his daughter are amazing, and that she is a true genius with a sword. Another person commented that it was probably because of her excellent education, and that watching her was like watching the Kaiser when she was young. The Kaiser thanked her, but replied that it was not for him, it was all due to Elsa's own skill. At that moment, Elsa came running with the dent, asking if I had seen that she won this year's tournament. The Kaiser confirmed that he was watching, and praised her, saying that her sword skill is amazing, and that her success was the result of hard work. But she replied that she is still far from reaching her father's level, and that she has to try even harder. The Kaiser was delighted, and said that, for sure, one day she would get over it, and he was looking forward to it. Elsa got angry, and asked him if he remembered the promise he had made to her. The Kaiser confirmed that since he won the tournament, he could ask for something, since that was the promise he made to him. The Kaiser asked her what she wanted to order, but she replied that it was a secret. He patted her on the head, and told her that for dinner that night, he would make rabbit stew, her favorite dish. She was very surprised to hear that. The Kaiser added that since it was a dinner to celebrate his victory, he could eat more than one dish. She was super happy and excited, saying she wanted the tournament to be held every day, so she could eat rabbit stew every day. While they were talking, someone came running and announced that a monster had appeared in the village. The Kaiser listened, and realized that the voice was coming from the other side of the village. He asked Elsa to stay there, to stay quiet, and not to move until he returned, but, when he was leaving, he insisted that he wanted to go with her. saying that she was the champion of the tournament, and that she could fight alongside her father, begged her to take her. And the reluctant Kaiser, he agreed, but told her to stay behind him. The two of them ran towards the monster. It was a giant boar, and the villages were in danger. When Kaiser arrived, he asked Alice to help the others while he took care of the monster. However, she refused, saying that she wanted to fight alongside him. When Al confronted the monster, she became nervous, and the Kaiser realized that she was overwhelmed and needed his help. The boar was about to attack Elsa, but the Kaiser threw himself in front and grabbed the monster, pressing it in the abdomen. Elsa was worried, but the Kaiser held her tightly, because he knew that she was behind him and could not allow her to get hurt. With your strength, the Kaiser managed to subdue and defeat the monster. After the fight, she went to him if she asked if she had been injured. She was disappointed and apologized, saying he couldn't do anything. He admitted that just because he had won the fencing tournament, he thought he could help his father. The Kaiser reassured her by telling her not to worry, explaining that the first fight is always the most difficult, and that she needed to gain experience and improve little by little. Tears began to flow from Elsa's eyes, and she asked if the Kaiser was ever afraid of monsters. The Kaiser replied that of course he did, and that some monsters were scarier than he could imagine. But I needed to protect people. When Elsa asked why, he explained that it was because of them, their daughters and the townspeople, that they were all very important to him. She added that one day she could fight to protect the people who are important to her, and that would give her the strength not to be afraid. He understood himself, and replied that she also had important people to protect, such as her friends, her daughter, her younger sisters and her father. The Kaiser smiled, and told him to dedicate the sword to protect these people. And in time, he would definitely overcome his fears. He wiped away tears, and agreed with his father. Then they decided to come home and cook dinner. The Kaiser commented that today's experience, despite Elsa's defeat, would serve as a valuable lesson for her future, and make her stronger. When they got home, the Kaiser's daughter was angry because they were late. The fencing tournament should be over by now, and Elsa should have won quickly. He wondered if something had happened to them, but he thought that since Elsa was with her father, everything must be fine. He got up thinking he should go check on them. Back in town, the Kaiser was dealing with the monster, and the caller apologized for forcing him to deal with it. After the Kaiser defeated the monster, the person thanked him. The Kaiser said not to worry, as this was the person who took care of his house when he was away. So it was just a favor in return. The person, Giesel, commented that the Kaiser has always been a man with a strong sense of duty, helping the people, and collaborating with the work as a guardian. Thanks to that, the demon attacks had decreased considerably, and this year's harvest would probably be the biggest they've ever had. The Kaiser was delighted to hear this. Giesel went on to say that she heard that the Kaiser was teaching children to use the sword. The Kaiser confirmed it by saying that it is always good to know how to use a sword, in case something happens. Besides, the children always came to his house asking him to teach them. The man remembered when Kaiser participated in the fencing tournament, and won everything without taking a single blow. But he added that because he was too strong, Kaiser ended up being excluded from subsequent tournaments, because his strength was in a completely different league. He noticed that the Kaiser's arms were still quite strong, and joked that they could probably carry all the ingredients at once, although that would put a strain on his back. What was expected from a former rank adventurer? The Kaiser asked him to stop talking about it, saying that it was a long time ago, and he is now just a retired adventurer. The person replied that he had never heard of adventurers retiring, and suggested that if the Kaiser returned to the capital, he could easily become an adventurer again, that many people would welcome him with open arms. The Kaiser said he couldn't go back because he had Elsa and the other people now. The person asked if he had told the children the truth. The Kaiser, confused, asked what he meant. He explained, asking if the Kaiser had told them that he was not the real father, as it was not difficult to tell, especially since he did not have a mother nearby. The Kaiser denied this, but admitted that he planned to tell her when the time was right. The person suggested that there was always the option of hiding the truth. The Kaiser did not understand, so the man explained further, saying that if the girls found out that he was not the real father, they would be very surprised. He added that hiding the truth was also, in a way, a form of kindness. The Kaiser nodded thoughtfully. Then, he noticed something, and asked if the interior of the bar had changed. The person replied that yes, he had changed after his daughter suggested it. Not only has the interior been modified, but even the entrance. Because he had said that if customers could see the inside from the outside, they would enter without fear. Since then, he has done everything she recommended. And now the bar had more customers than before. In addition, he said that she had noticed that he was buying ingredients above the market price, and had negotiated with the supplier. He was impressed by the ease with which Anna negotiated with a professional seller. It was a sight worth seeing. He commented that Anna was amazing, and would probably have a lot of talent in the future. He joked, saying he would need to get along with her while he could. The Kaiser realized that Giselle still loved money as much as ever. Giselle confirmed, saying that, in fact, money did not matter to her. At that moment Elsa arrived, saying that she had come to look for her father. The Kaiser apologized for making her come there, but she said she didn't mind, since in the meantime, she was just training with the sword. The Kaiser said goodbye to Giselle, and told her that if she needed help again, to let her know. Giselle agreed, and asked him to say hello to Anda. And they were coming home. The night air was calm, and his footsteps echoed softly along the path. Kaiser asked if he had finished his workout today, and she confirmed by saying that lately he had finished his workout at noon, and was thinking about increasing the load. But Kaiser said he couldn't overdo it, because rest was also important. He also commented that, according to recent studies, you should rest for 20 hours after training. At that moment, they heard a scream, and, when they looked back, they saw a clearly frightened person running towards them. When they saw him, they wondered why he was running. Was he being chased by a monster? At that moment, the boat appeared shouting his name. Camille asked her father to hug him. Camille asked Kaiser to get out of the way, but Kaiser replied that he could not, because it was his daughter's request. Therefore, he had to stop it. Camille tried to escape from the sides, but Kaiser touched her foot, and made it fall. Then Kaiser asked why Camille was running away. And Nad intervened, replying that it was because of what she was going to do to him. He explained that Camille drank, and missed work in the middle of the day, so he thought he deserved a punishment. Camille defended himself by saying that he couldn't help it, that he couldn't breathe properly in the mine, and that he needed to come out for air from time to time. Anab replied, saying that he should do this outside of working hours, and reminded him that this is why the working hours at the mine were from 6 to 7 o'clock, 5 days a week. Campbell retorted, telling her to shut up, because she wanted to work whenever she felt like it, and go out whenever she wanted. But Nab ignored this, saying it would be inefficient that way. He explained that it was important to work at the right times, and rest during non-working hours, to achieve maximum efficiency. He even commented that, in theory, if he worked as well as his father, he could get the same earnings by working only 3 hours a day, 2 days a week. Camel laughed, and said that was not why, that Kaiser was a monster, that he himself did the work of 100 men. Nab agreed with this, but said that if he wanted to complain, he should at least be good like his father. Because if it wasn't like that, I'd have to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Camel felt frustrated, and asked what a girl like her knew about her job. Nab then retorted, asking if the mine's profits hadn't reached records since she started meddling in her work. She said that if he wanted he could leave that role, but warned that he would have to report his behavior to his boss and his wife. Camille panicked and asked for forgiveness, asking her not to say anything, because both her boss and his wife trusted her a lot. If she told him, he would have no place either at work or at home. Anat told him to start working without complaining, and he had no choice but to accept. Then he reminded her of what she now understood, and told her to go back to work immediately, or he was going to waste valuable lunchtime by staying there, frustrated. Camel left, just like that. Kaiser commented that it can be difficult to deal with children acting like adults. Anab, on the other hand, commented that she thought that all adults had to be as resilient as Dad, and it seemed that she had to keep an eye on them all the time. Looking at her, Kaiser noticed that she seemed to be going through a daily struggle. The ship replied that it was helping because they were asking and gaining experience. Many things would be useful when joining the guild in the future. Kaiser asked if her dream was to become a guild master and commented that Elsa had said she wanted to be an adventurer. The catcher chuckled and said that, besides her sword skills, Elsa was practically useless and that he would have to do everything for her. Elsa, offended, replied that she knew how to do other things besides brandishing her sword. Then the nab, smiling, pointed to Elsa and asked her if she knew how to control household expenses. If she knew how much money she needed per month, how the expenses were broken down, and how much she would have left over for the following month. He hesitated. She tried to calculate, but in the end, she couldn't answer, which left her a little embarrassed. Anab, unsurprisingly, said that since he wanted to outdo adventurers like Dad, the position of guild master was perfect for her. Kaiser confirmed this and said that Navi would definitely make it because she was his precious daughter. This made Navi blush. Then he asked if Elsa and Papaya were going home, and Kaiser confirmed it by saying that they were going to make Elsa a celebratory dinner, and that he was also thinking about making an apple pie for dessert. When she heard this, Anna started salivating, and asked if it was Dad who was going to make the cake. Kaiser said it was obvious that he would do it with his own hands. Excited, Nab declared that she would return to him. Kaiser asked if this wouldn't interfere with her work, and she replied that it was fine, because there was no job more important than apple pie. Her excitement made Elsa think that she was cheating somehow. Together, they began to return home. Kaiser realized that the girls were not yet ready to know the truth. They were just pure and innocent 10-year-old girls. On the way back, a villager approached Navi Kaiser, carrying a giant fish. The resident offered the fish as a token of appreciation. Kaiser held the fish and asked about the gesture. One resident explained that Nab had helped them to adjust the village finances the other day, and that this was their way of showing gratitude. He commented that since Nab started helping in various places, the village's economy had improved dramatically. One resident said it was amazing how a 10-year-old girl could have such a profound influence on what was happening around her, calling her the master of the Supreme Guild, who leads from above. As they continued on their way, Elsa commented on how much food they were getting lately. Anab then said that she would need to review the menu for the week. When they finally got home, Kaiser opened the door and found another daughter sleeping. I couldn't believe it was already night. Anna asked how Meryl could be so lazy. Kaiser went there and asked Meryl to wake up because it was already night, but she asked for 5 more minutes. He denied it and insisted that I wake up. Then he confirmed that he was going to wake up, but in return, he wanted a kiss on the cheek. Why do princesses wake up after receiving a kiss from the prince? Elsa arrived and told Meryl that she was not a princess and asked her to stop bothering her father. Meryl commented that he was always very serious and asked Dad to hurry up and kiss her on the cheek. Kaiser asked her if she was going to do that, if she would really wake up. Meryl confirmed, and he kissed her on the cheek, asking if she was going to wake up, as she had promised. Meryl confirmed and stood up, saying that her dad was good at giving kisses. Meryl then asked why Elsa didn't ask her for a kiss too. Elsa, somewhat embarrassed, replied that that was a ridiculous thing, because a swordswoman does not need kisses. Mary told Elsa not to be embarrassed, and to just say that she wanted to be pampered. Elsa, embarrassed, said that she was the one who wanted to be pampered. Meryl then asked Dad to take off her pajamas. Kaiser confirmed, by saying that Elsa was right. Meryl wanted to be spoiled too much. Meryl replied that it was because she loved her dad. The capture then asked what had happened to the magic school. If Meryl didn't have class today, Meryl smiled and said she was absent. Anab got angry and said that the monthly fee was not free, since Dad paid. But Meryl replied that school was so boring that she was already better than the magic teacher. She showed the trick she did, creating an ice crystal. Kaiser asked if that was ice magic, and she explained that it was a technical application of water magic. Asking where I had learned it, Meryl said that it wasn't Dad who had taught her how to use water magic, and that she had tried everything she could with magic ever since. He made an ice horse and thought it was amazing. That's why she asked if it wouldn't be better, instead of going to classes to study magic, to ask Dad to teach her magic while she flirts with him. Anna got angry, denied this thought, and said that Dad cannot be around all day taking care of her, because he has his own things to do. He even scolded her, telling her that she should go to school and take classes like everyone else. But Amory replied that going to school was a hassle, and that she wanted to stay at home, flirting with Dad. Anna got even angrier and pulled Meryl's ear, making her scream in pain. Then Anna asked if Meryl promised to go to school properly, and he had to confess that he would go. Anna assured Dad that she would make sure Meryl went to school responsibly, and asked her to concentrate on her work. Kaiser decided to make dinner, and that's when Meryl asked what was going to happen. He replied that it would be rabbit stew to celebrate Elsa's victory. She was surprised and asked for dessert. Kaiser confirmed and said it would be apple pie. She was happy and began to enjoy it, saying that Daddy's apple pie is the best in the world. Anna heard this and replied that children who misbehave and miss school do not get dessert, which made Mary cry. Mary begged her, telling her that she was going to do as Anna asked and go to school properly. But she asked her not to leave her without dessert. The scene changed a few days later, when Kaiser was working. When a man appeared and said that his shift was over and asked Kaiser to take over, he realized that it was already late, and decided to rest, going out and going to sit in the garden. He realized that the harvest had almost arrived, and that it was the time of year when monsters came to attack the crops. The demon from last time was probably chasing them too. And some people in the village even knew how to handle a sword, but they were no match for a strong monster like he is. But since he took on the role of a guardian, he managed to fend off all the monsters, and, of course, took other measures besides acting as a guardian. Just at that moment, someone appeared and closed his eyes, asking him to guess who it was. Kaiser smiled and said he had no idea and asked for a tip. The girl replied that the hint was a person who loved him. Kaiser thought about who it would be, and the girl added that there were many people who loved him. But he asked who was the person he liked the most. Kaiser replied that it was hard to tell based on that clue, and the girl noticed that he was a little shy. But she said that she liked that about him too. Then he gave another hint. She said that she was the most spoiled daughter of Dad, and asked who that person was, saying that she was the brightest magician in the world, and the youngest of 3 sisters. Kaiser was right, and he said it had to be Meryl. She was happy with the response, and Kaiser said she seemed very happy. She replied that it was because it was fun to flirt with Dad. But then he asked her if she shouldn't be at school, since it was still time for classes. Meryl was startled, and Kaiser asked her if she had disappeared again, since the day before she had said that she would arrive at school on time. I was frustrated, because she had said she would study properly, and now there she was again. She said she even received a complaint from her teacher. And when asked about it, she explained that the teacher said that Meryl only slept and hardly paid attention in classes. In the practical classes, he used only forbidden magic, and in the end, he challenged and defeated his own teacher. Mary replied that it was because the teacher constantly asked her to do this and that, and she thought that if she showed who was stronger, she wouldn't bother anymore. She laughed and boasted about how she defeated the master, asking Kaiser to praise her, but he replied that he could not praise her for something like that. He admitted that he thought it was incredible that she had beaten the teacher, and recognized that she was a genius. But he said the purpose of magic was not to harm people, but to improve their lives. Magic has value when it helps others. At that moment, a person called him and asked if he was the Kaiser. The man greeted him and asked if he was coming back from work. Kaiser confirmed it by saying it was something like that and said he was very busy. The man replied that that year seemed to be the biggest harvest they had ever had. And he stressed that the fact that the demons could not damage the harvest was a big reason for this. He noted that this happened thanks to the Kaiser becoming a tutor. And he even praised the magic fence Kaiser had made, saying it had been instrumental. Meryl asked about the berry, and Kaiser asked if it was the first time she had seen it. He explained that the berry was reinforced with lightning magic, and it was made so that if a monster tried to attack the crop and touched it, he would receive an electric shock. The man confirmed that it was a great invention and thanked him, saying that thanks to this the harvest was not damaged. He said there was no better sight than watching an annoying monster run away. Then the man said that when the harvest was over, he would make sure Kaiser got a share of the harvest. Kaiser asked if this was correct, and the man confirmed, saying that in the world, it is important to maintain a give-and-take relationship. He even told Meryl to eat the vegetables and get stronger. After thanking them for their help, the man left and returned to his work. When the man walked away, Kaiser turned to Meryl and asked her what they were talking about earlier. Meryl sighed and said that now she understood what Dad meant. She wondered if he would praise her when she used magic to help others. Kaiser confirmed with a smile. And Meryl declared that this cute daughter of hers would work hard to earn such praise. Kaiser, considering Meryl's potential, thought to himself that if this moment was the turning point for her, to learn how to use magic to help others, the world could undergo a major transformation in the future. Meanwhile, at home, the atmosphere was different. Anna announced that the big day was only a week away, and it was time to make a decision. She said they needed to get together and decide what they were going to get Dad for his birthday. At first, Anna wanted to talk about what they could give as a gift, but Elsa said that would be a problem, because Dad usually doesn't talk about what he likes. Anna agreed and said it's true. Dad doesn't drink, and he doesn't have a habit of collecting things either. Elsa suggested that maybe they could ask some of their friends, but Anna replied that she had already done so and got nothing. Elsa then. He suggested that they might try to cook him something. Anna said that she had thought about it too, but that she thought it would be better to have something that he could keep. Elsa said that in the end the best thing would be something like an accessory. Anna agreed, but the problem was that they didn't have enough money. And I had saved money, helping out in various places, but all on a voluntary basis. They didn't know what to do. When Meryl and Kaiser arrived home, they greeted him, and Kaiser asked them if they were planning anything. As there were several coins on the table, he tried to hide the coins, saying that it was no big deal, that she and Anna were just talking about saving money. Kaiser took a look and said if they needed help, they could count on him. They replied that they were fine, but that if they came up with something, they would talk to him. At that time, upon seeing Meryl, Anna said that a certain brat had to be at school, and asked her why she was at home, about to scold her. Meryl asked her to calm down, saying she had a good explanation, but Kaiser asked Anna to take a break this time, because he was sure Meryl wouldn't miss school anymore, and he asked Meryl if she was going to find out what her vocation was with magic, and she said that those who are motivated do not run away from the struggle. Anna realized that something had happened that day and decided to forgive her this time, since Dad asked her to. But he gave her a look saying that the next time she escaped, she would have a very harsh punishment. Mary then confirmed that everything would be fine, that from now on the magic genius, Mary, was going to do amazing things. But soon after, Anna pulled her ears, making Meryl cry in pain, and asked if she wasn't going to let it go this time. Anna said she was almost leaving, but that arrogant smile of his irritated her, and she asked what the two of them were talking about. They said they were just talking about what to get Dad for his birthday, and asked if he had any good ideas. She started to think. With a smile she replied that she didn't have any as expected. So, she suggested buying an accessory, and Anna agreed, saying that she would contact her acquaintances to think about other options as well. Anna went to a seller with whom she had done business before, and saw a necklace, which left her amazed. The seller said that his daughter had got married and left, and that he did not use such things, which had been collecting dust in the drawer for a long time. Anna thought it was wonderful and asked him how much he wanted it. The boy replied that she had been a great help to him, and that he would love to give her a gift, but that he needed to ask her a favor. Anna asked for the favor, and he explained that since the harvest festival was in 4 days, he always set up his tent outside. But this year I injured my leg. And since the event was big, a lot of people would come, but he wouldn't be able to attend well. Then he asked if she and her sisters could help in his shop that day. She asked him if he loved all 3 of them, and he confirmed, saying that, after the event, he would give them the necklace. Anna agreed, saying that they would prepare in advance. The seller asked to meet at noon in 4 days. The scene changed 4 days later, with the 3 girls heading to the store. Elsa asked if they would really have to work during the festival. And Anna replied that it was because of Dad, who only asked her to endure that day, leaving the big things behind, like sweets. And becoming an adult, Meryl said she was a weak and cute little girl who wanted to eat a lot of sweets. Anna said it didn't make sense, because Meryl would probably like sweet things until she dies. She replied that she was right, making Elsa realize that she was just joking with Meryl when they arrived at the store. The seller said that it seemed that everything was ready and that he had a lady who was looking at Anna, saying that it was a pleasure to meet her. He looked over and asked if the salesman had other people helping. He replied that there was a reason to ask for help, because he didn't want just anyone. After all, he said that they were all beautiful, and that if they were in the showcase, they would definitely bring a lot of customers. Then he left, saying that his daughter would not be suitable for the job, causing his daughter to get angry and slap him on the broken leg. He apologized to Anna and told her that his father had asked this favor. Anna said it was okay, as it would be a good experience for them. They went into the store, and he said he wanted them to put on some clothes he had. When they came out, they were wearing super cute dresses. He said that those were clothes he wore at past festivals, and that they fit great. The salesman said that it was time for the ceremony to end, and that he was going to open the store for the start of the festival, and asked them to wait outside. The Kaiser was there too. He noticed that there were a lot of people this year, and wondered if it was because it was the biggest harvest they had ever had. When he entered the crowded place, he saw a big crowd in the store, and wondered what kind of store it would be. At that moment, she saw her 3 daughters attracting the attention of the public by saying that they had limited edition Harvest Festival dolls in stock, and that, according to them, the dolls brought abundant harvests. The Kaiser saw it all and wondered why all 3 of them were suddenly working as saleswomen. At that moment, Maria listened and called Dad. Anna, seeing him, said that she thought he was in charge of the village's security this year, but the Kaiser, more importantly, asked why they worked as saleswomen. Meryl was about to tell the truth, but Elsa covered her mouth and said it wasn't a big deal. They just wanted to know what it was like to sell things from time to time. Then the salesman showed up, saw Kaiser, and apologized for asking his daughters for help. The Kaiser thanked her and said he hoped the girls hadn't caused too much trouble. The salesman replied that it was nothing like that his own daughter was helping him, but that he was still worried about the sales, and that they had been a great help to him. The Kaiser was very glad to hear this. Then the lady appeared, and asked them how they looked, and said they looked very cute. Elsa blushed, and asked him what he thought. The Kaiser replied that the clothes fit great, and that they were very pretty, which made everyone blush. The vendor then said that since things had calmed down, they could enjoy the festival. Meryl was glad to hear that, because I was hungry after a long day at work. The Kaiser said that because the 3 of them had worked so hard, he would buy them anything they wanted. They were happy. And Anna asked him if it was not necessary to go back to work. The Kaiser said he was fine, he was just walking around the festival to check things out, while he was on patrol. He apologized to the vendor, and said they were going to enjoy the festival. Mary was happy, and asked if the Kaiser wanted to go out with her, which infuriated Anna, who said it sounded weird, like a father-daughter date. But Meryl replied that she didn't care about such trifles, making Anna even more angry. Anna asked if he didn't care what others thought, because it might cause misunderstandings for the Kaiser. They continued to argue, and the Kaiser smiled. The 3 daughters who were so young before were now able to run a store on their own. In 4 years' time, when they turned 14, they would go to the capital to follow his ways, even without his help. The Kaiser thought that everything would be fine with them. The scene changed and the Kaiser returned home, seeing that no one was there. He called and asked if they were home, wondering why no one was home, and where they might have gone. At that moment, the girls appeared wishing him a happy birthday. He was surprised. Elsa said that, instead of thanking them as usual, they decided to throw her a party and prepared a birthday present. When she saw him, she got excited and the girls got worried, asking him if he was okay. She wiped her tears and said she was fine, and maybe she wasn't old enough not to cry yet. I was very grateful, saying she loved the gift and asked if she could put it on the spot. Meryl asked for help to put the gift on her. The Kaiser thought that, in 4 years, he would say goodbye to them without major problems. But he imagined that he would still miss them. After all, I couldn't just leave the village I was protecting, but at least I was able to give them all the love and affection I could until I left. That was the decision he made. The scene changed and a giant monster attacked the village. The Kaiser realized that the day was exciting and regretted that he had made the wrong opponent. But just at that moment, a woman appeared in front of him and defeated the monster with a single blow. The Kaiser praised her, saying that it was expected from Elsa, that she had grown up. She thanked him and said that it was all thanks to his training. 4 years ago, she was so scared that she couldn't even move from her place. What's more, she couldn't stand still, not with the people she needed to protect. The Kaiser told her that even though she had evolved from the Elsa she once was, he asked her to never forget how she felt back then. It had been 4 years since then, and her daughters had already turned 14 that year. Elsa had decided to follow the path of the sword. Using the techniques he taught her, and making her own, she also helped as the guardian of the village, bravely fighting the monsters that attacked her. As they were walking, Kaiser remembered, and said that he had heard that she had won the fencing tournament again. She confirmed it and said it was the 4th time in a row. She commented that she had finally been banned this year, as if she was just like her father. She was happy to be banished in the same way as her father. Kaiser said he was probably the only person in the world happy about something like that. While he was happy to share the same banishment as his father, he decided to follow him, since those two were waiting at home. When they arrived, Meryl and welcomed us and dinner was served. Meryl said she also helped prepare the meal, while Anna asked how to correct him if he had made a mistake, but questioned whether he had just brought the food. Kaiser looked at them and saw that, after 4 years, Anna was now showing her management and negotiation skills. Thanks to this, the economic situation of the village was so good that they even decided to create a party in his honor, called Thanksgiving Day Anna. Meanwhile, Mary was still the same spoiled brat, who skipped magic training, but she had decided to use her magic for people, and not for selfish reasons. Meryl then told her father that day, she had found a vein of hot springs using earth magic, and, thanks to her, the village would have 2 hot springs. She asked him to congratulate her. What Kaiser did. Anna told them that if the village had a spa district, it would surely attract more people. But that, with the increase in the number of people, the monster attacks would increase. She asked her father to be careful. Kaiser said he needn't have worried, that although he was over 30, her body showed no signs of aging. In fact, she even looked stronger. Then he ordered dinner because he couldn't wait to eat Anna's delicious food. Anna said it was just an imitation of her food. But today I was more motivated than usual, since it was the last day. The Kaiser realized that the next day his daughters would leave for the capital, since at the age of 14 they could already work. He had decided to follow the path of the adventurer, just like him, and was looking for the way of Gilda's teacher. Finally, Meryl would follow the path of the magician. Although Meryl had doubts about whether she could stand the fact of taking advantage of others, Kaiser asked if they had finished preparing for the next day. Anna denied it, saying that it was like moving house, there were a lot of things to pack. And since they hadn't finished, he suggested she take a shower while they were done. Kaiser agreed, and went to the shower, asking them not to forget to pack everything. They confirmed it. While taking a shower, Kaiser thought that, after all, he could not say that he was not his real father. I've lost count of how many times I've tried to say that in the last 4 years. But he never succeeded. It was because of what you did that his real parents died. And I wanted to know what kind of people they were. But she soon realized that the 3 of them entered the bathroom without warning, saying that it was bath time. Kaiser felt embarrassed, and asked what the girls would be doing, and they wouldn't have said they were getting ready for the next day. Elsa asked if she would be allowed to wash his back. Kaiser asked why, and Elsa replied that it was her father who taught her to do that, and that she wanted to give something back. She started washing his back. Meryl was also excited and joined in, asking him not to turn around at all. Elsa started washing his back, and asked if he was too strong. Kaiser replied that she looked amazing, like she was becoming a new person. Meryl went there and said it hurt now, but Anna pulled her hair and said no, it didn't hurt. Meryl asked why she did that, and Anna replied that she wanted to stop her, because this girl thought she was going to wash it with her body. He asked the 2 of them not to embarrass Dad too much. When his body began to feel cold, he was asked why the 3 of them did not meet as they had agreed. They started washing Kaiser together. Elsa asked Meryl to stop trying to clean her front, but she said it was okay. Elsa said it was embarrassing, and asked her to stop showing off her body that way. Meryl said she was sure Elsa would be happy to push her breast, and showed her how. Elsa felt embarrassed and asked him what kind of nonsense he was saying, as if he was capable of doing something like that. Anna complained that the two of them were making a lot of noise, and asked them to shut up and rinse off, as they were in the shower together. Emra looked at Kaiser, and asked him if he was sure he couldn't go with them. He confirmed, saying that he had the duty to be the guardian of the village, and other responsibilities that they had to fulfill. Someone needed to stay to take care of the house. Meryl was sad, and said that she would feel very lonely, and that she could not live without him. She said that if he stayed in the village, she would stay too. Anna asked her not to be selfish, saying that if she stayed there, she would end up becoming an unfriendly fighter. He asked Meryl to go to the capital, and face the difficult society outside. Anna assured Kaiser not to worry, that she would make sure Meryl wasn't too much trouble, and promised to send her letters every month telling her how they were doing. Kaiser was calm, knowing that Anna was there. And he thought that his little daughters had grown up a lot. Before he knew it, the next day they would finally be flying alone. The next day the car arrived, and asked if everything was ready, as it was time to leave. The three girls were ready to leave, and Kaiser dismissed them, asking them to take care of themselves. Everyone promised that they would be fine and follow the paths they choose. When they finally left, Giesel came up to him, and asked if they had finally left. Kaiser confirmed. And Giesel asked him if he felt like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. Kaiser replied that he did not know yet. Giesel said that so far it has been a good job of the last 14 years. Kaiser said everything happened fast. He laughed and patted Giesel on the shoulder, thinking he was probably getting old by thinking everything happened so fast. As the girls were heading to the capital, Elsa commented on how much she felt that, in addition to Meryl, she would return every week. She thought she would be very depressed, but Elsa replied that it was okay, because her father trusted them, and let them follow their dreams. So there was no need to be sad. Anna confirmed. And so the daughters went their separate ways from their father. 4 years later, the story between father and daughter would begin again, when a person was traveling. And when he saw the road he found it pleasant. The writer asked the client if the village's trade route was very nice. The client was Kaiser, who agreed. The writer then asked if it wasn't a nuisance. Why was I going to the capital? Kaiser, looking at the letter, said that his daughter lived there, and that he would move in with her. The writer noticed and said that since the father was so handsome, the daughter must be very beautiful. It had been 4 years since he had sent them to the capital. And this time he was going alone. The scene was moved a month ago, when the Kaiser was working with Giesel. When the service was over, a person appeared saying that he had the usual letters from those three. He took the letters and opened them. Hasai, knowing that it was the routine letter, asked if anything had happened. Kaiser denied it and said they seemed fine as usual, which was a relief. But are they still asking you to go live with them in the capital? Kaiser confirmed, saying they had been asking for it for the past few months. But wouldn't that be great? Go to the capital and live with them. Isn't it time you started living with your daughters? Besides, they would be happy. The Kaiser wondered. And the people? He asked. What are you worried about? You've been training the kids the whole time. So there are more than enough guardians already. The course is also safe thanks to the magic lightning fence, and you can leave your horses with me. Then he told the truth. The Kaiser even wanted to go to the capital, but he could not because of people's affairs. He was that kind of fair person, but he said, your life is yours, and you are free to do whatever you want with it. Kaiser realized that Hazy was telling the truth and thanked her. Then he decided to go to the capital. At that moment, the gentleman noticed and wondered who those guys were. Some of the men asked for the carriage to stop for a moment. It was the coat of arms of the kingdom, the Zoric order. The soldier apologized for stopping them, and said they had been informed that a man named Kerr would be passing that way. That's why they would like to check the tickets. Seeing them, Kenny wondered what the Knights of the Realm were doing there, and if they were looking for him. Maybe because of that incident 18 years ago. And if his bad reputation preceded him, That would mean they were there to capture him. The soldiers, seeing Kaiser, asked him to say his name. When Kaiser showed up and said he was the one they were looking for, the soldier listened and called all the other soldiers. Kaiser got ready and thought about what he would do, but then the soldiers greeted him saying that they were waiting for him. Kaiser was surprised by his reaction, asking if they weren't there to arrest him. At that moment, he called him. When they saw her, the two hugged and said that they really missed each other. Kaiser said that starting today they could see each other whenever they wanted. Elsa was happy, and Kaiser said that he had read her letter and found out that she would become the commander of the knights. She confirmed and said that she became an S-rank adventurer and also the 15th generation commander of the Knight Order of the Beyondsang Kingdom. Kaiser said it was very impressive, that he had worked hard to achieve his dream, and thanked her for coming to get him. Then he asked her why she had come there. Since they were quite far from the capital, he explained to himself that, in fact, the guild asked him to make a living hunting, and after defeating him, as they knew he would come, they decided to wait for him. At that time, someone appeared saying that he believed that father-son interaction was important, but that they should get to the capital as soon as possible. Kaiser thanked the gentleman and paid him. As she watched him, she realized that the gentleman was an impressive person. As they were going with Elsa, the soldiers asked if it was true that they had been told that Commander Elsa had never struck her with a sword. Hearing this, Kaiser began to think and realized that indeed, they had fought hundreds of times. But she had never really managed to hit him. Everyone was surprised to hear that the youngest East-rank adventurer in history and Commander Elsa couldn't land a blow on him. Meanwhile, they continued their journey and Kaiser was focused and prepared for any battle. Elsa said that even after separating from her father, she continued to train, and, despite having achieved the status of a master swordsman, she did not believe that she could beat her father. And that's how he became such an awesome person. Kaiser replied that it was a great honor to hear that from the commander of the knights, and considered that perhaps it was true, that he could not reach it even when he was 14 years old. But now he could probably strike a blow easily. When they finally arrived in the capital, Kaiser noticed that a lot had changed in the last 18 years. He asked about Anna and Meryl. Elsa replied that Anna was busy with the guild work, while Meryl should have gone with her to welcome her. Kaiser said that if she wasn't there, she was probably asleep. He then asked if Meryl was a high school student at the Magic Academy. Elsa confirmed, saying that she was a scholarship student there, that if she lived in the dormitory, I would have free meals and a bed, which was the best environment I could ask for. Elsa asked him what he would do now. Kaiser replied that he was thinking about looking for a job, but first he needed a place to stay for now. He would stay at an inn and sort it out the next day. Elsa said that when Meryl found out that he was going to the capital, it seemed that he had made arrangements to leave the bedroom quickly. Kaiser realized that they needed to find a house as soon as possible, because if Meryl lived with him and a bed and breakfast, that would be a problem. But I knew they didn't have much time. Then Elsa said that in that case, she was asking him to let her take care of it. Kaiser asked him if he had anything on his mind. She confirmed, saying that although renting a house was expensive, she wouldn't need to worry about money. Since she was the commander of the Kingdom Knights and with her recommendation, he could rent an empty house for free, which impressed him. Then he asked what kind of houses were available. He told himself that there were some options in the aristocratic district and in the residential district, and they decided to go there as soon as possible. When they finally arrived at the house in the residential district, he explained to himself that it was a 4-bedroom house, and that it had a magic-powered air conditioning system. Kaiser thought it was amazing. He said the second and third floors could be used as dormitories for everyone, which he thought would be the best, so that no one would feel uncomfortable. Elsa then suggested that they visit the house in the aristocratic district. He agreed, and, when they got there, he said he had never been to the aristocratic district before, and asked if there were guards. Elsa confirmed, saying that if something happened, the knights would come running to take care of the situation. Then he showed the property in the aristocratic district. Kaiser looked at it and was not sure, since everything there seemed extremely luxurious. Elsa said those were the 2 properties they could move into immediately. Kaiser began to think, not knowing which one to choose. The residential neighborhood, which he knew, or the aristocratic neighborhood, which offered a refined lifestyle. At that moment, outside, a woman was making fun of a child, saying he was from the residential district, and asking how he dared to infiltrate the aristocratic district. The boy apologized, and the woman cursed him, saying that he was lying like a mouse, and that he was probably there to steal, like a poor peasant. The boy denied it, saying that it was not true, and that his dog had run into the aristocratic neighborhood, and he was just looking for it. At that moment the dog appeared, but running towards the woman, who kicked him. The boy caught the dog, asking what that meant. The woman replied that she could not allow such an unclean creature to approach her, since they were in an aristocratic district, where there was no place for peasants. Then he called the gentleman, and asked them to get rid of the inferior peasants, while the gentleman took the child away. The woman noticed that Commander Els was there and asked him what he was doing there. Elsa replied that they were looking for a new place to live, and that they had come with her father to see the houses. The girl praised her by saying that her father looked very handsome. The Kaiser said they had just seen the two houses, one in the residential district, and one in the aristocratic district, and they planned to live in one of them. The girl replied that the obvious choice would be the aristocratic district, since people like him did, and others did not belong to the peasants. In addition, he said that if he decided to live there, they would be neighbors in the same district. But the Kaiser replied that, in fact, he planned to live in the residential area. The girl was surprised to hear this and asked why. The Kaiser said that although she might be proud to live in the same area as him, for him the idea of living in the same place that she deeply disliked would be a great shame for him to be there. He told her that she should learn that decency is not bought with money, and then said goodbye. When he left with Elsa, he apologized, saying that he had just said all that without asking her if she wanted to live there, but Elsa told him not to worry, as she felt the same as her father and was happy that he had said all that. So, they decided to return to their home in the residential district. The scene changed, and Mary wondered why the two hadn't arrived yet, so she decided to start. Meanwhile, Mary was working magic, and everyone was enjoying it, even though she wasn't done yet. Elsa and Kaiser were watching the crowd, who seemed super excited. The Kaiser noticed that someone was doing magic tricks, and everyone loved it, until Meryl did her act in front of them. The children were glad to see this, and everyone was glad that they came to see them. The if Kaiser were a little embarrassed, while Meryl collected the tips. At this moment, they saw her and asked her if she had finally woken up. Meryl, seeing them, she greeted him, and the Kaiser asked her what she was doing there, doing a street show. Meryl replied that since the two were not together, she decided to do it to pass the time, and thanks to that she earned a lot of tips. Since everyone was happy to see her doing magic in such a cute way, Elsa asked her if she didn't want to get a job, since with her skills she could get it anywhere, but Mare refused, saying that this cutie would rather be a whore. Then he wondered how he knew they would come there, and Mare replied that, the other day, when they saw the list of possible houses, she was sure that Dad would choose between the residential and the aristocratic neighborhood. Kaiser asked her if she preferred to live in the aristocratic district, and she denied it, saying that this cutie loves money and hates people who act arrogantly just because they have money. He also added that he would prefer to go anywhere with his dad. Then she hugged him and told him that it had been a long time since she had seen him. The Kaiser said it had only been a week. At that moment, a person shouted, saying that there was a problem and asking for help. Kaiser ran over and asked what was going on. The person explained that the magic artifact that supplied the fountain had run out of magic, and, if they left it like that, they would not be able to guarantee water for daily needs. Since he seemed serious, they decided that they should do something soon. Then, he asked what they could do, and Meryl replied that it was too easy, and said to just put some magic in the magic device to recharge it, and I would start pumping water again. Kaiser understood and decided to take care of the matter. The person was surprised, and said that last month, it took 5 high-level magicians all day to recharge, and that he did not think the Kaiser could do it alone. Mary then said that Dad has more magic power than any wizard in the royal palace. Kaiser went there, put his magic on the device, and it recharged instantly. The water started to appear. The person was impressed, and everyone was very happy to see the water flowing again. The person went to the Kaiser. She thanked him and asked if he was Meryl's honorable father. He confirmed, and the person said the commoners were very grateful to Meryl, as thanks to her magical devices, they could enjoy the magical water and warmth, ensuring a drastic improvement in their quality of life. It used to be very difficult to get water for daily needs. The person asked for permission to show his appreciation and thank the Kaiser once again for what he did. Kaiser was glad to hear this, and as they were walking home, he realized that Meryl was using her magic for the good of the world and people. Meryl confirmed, asking if she wasn't cute. Kaiser said he was very proud to have a daughter like her, and Meryl was glad to hear that.